Well, happy Halloween, Don, to you and yours. Don, obviously today, and I saw part of the press conference earlier today, Dabo asked everybody who they were going to dress up as for Halloween, and Phil Kornblut said Tyler from Spartanburg. And everybody at the press conference laughed. Don, you're also the host of Tiger Calls. Can you bring us through your mindset when you're sitting there and something like that is unfolding? I mean, you're obviously thinking, man, this is going to be all over everything. But what is your mindset when you're living that in the moment?
Oh, well, as it's happening, and, I had people, calling me this morning, that was staged. And I said, are you all nuts? Are you just absolutely crazy? But people believe that. That's what people want to believe, I guess. But, so you have to understand the whole, what is right. So let me just take you through what the setting was first and foremost. So it's me and Coach Swinney. We're sitting in his conference room, his staff meeting room. Ross Taylor, the sports information director for football, is also in there. But he's on the same side of the table with Coach, but he's separated from Coach by about 3 or 4 chairs. And so Coach and I are just, we're directly across. Now you have to understand, when he's taking a call like that and answering a question, he's basically looking at me and talking to me so he has somebody to talk to. Okay. And so we have eye contact, going at all times. So, so you're sitting there listening and all right, so we're sitting there listening, let the guy go for a couple of minutes. And I was almost about to say, like 5 seconds before Coach said anything, I was about to say, Tyler, do you feel better now? You got this off your chest? Do you feel better now? I didn't say that. And then it was about 3 seconds later that all of a sudden I know Coach Swinney well enough that I could see the fuse had been lit. And I just thought to myself, all right, here we go. And I've seen that, 2 or 3 times in my career here at Clemson. And so I just sat back and enjoyed it. I loved it. I mean, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was very appropriate what he had to say. I thought that the gentleman challenged him in ways that probably he shouldn't have been challenged. And if you want to know why Coach Swinney is worth $11 million, well, you're asking the wrong question. Because forget what he means as a football coach. Just think what he means economically to not just Clemson, not just to the upstate of South Carolina, but to the entire state. That gentleman economically generates, I can tell you here in this area, he generates close to $100 million a year. Say that that's a guy that's a trader for a stock company, a brokerage house. All right, and he's generating $100 million. That means you're paying that guy $20 million because he's making 20%. He's a steal. He's an absolute steal for what he's doing. So forget about what he was paid in. But he is. He's due the acclaim that he should be, and he's done things like he said in today's press conference. There's only been 3 other times in college football that you've had a program win 10 games 12 years in a row. That's only happened 3 times in 150 years of college football. So. I think it's worth something.
Don, it's interesting that you bring up that point. I remember seeing an article maybe 3 years ago or so talking about Nick Saban's salary, and people were like, oh, it's so huge. But then when they compared that to the economic impact that Nick Saban had brought to the University of Alabama in his tenure, they said this guy's vastly underpaid at $10 million a year. Now, in the first segment of our show, Mark and I were impressed at Tyler's ability to organize his grievances. Obviously, it's not easy to stand toe-to-toe with an $11 million man and air your grievances in that way. But were you surprised by anything that Tyler said? Or were you surprised by any of his frustrations?
Oh no, I'm never surprised by what anybody says. I mean, Festivus came early. Okay, all right. So the airing of the grievances were put. I'm never surprised by what anybody says. Not anymore. Not in today's day and age. Never surprised by any of that stuff. So yeah. So the poll's been put up, and Festivus has definitely come early.